Just doing a review of this Husky 33-inch 4-drawer mechanic tool cart. I bought this from Home Depot. It was the floor model, so they gave me a 10% discount since it has scratches and scuffs on it. I can already tell the cat approves. Yeah, maybe he lost interest. Oh, here he comes. But yeah, so initial thoughts are that it's not terrible design. The steel's a little thin, it's a little flimsy, but it's actually a lot heavier than it looks. It does have a flip top lid with air pistons, which over time are probably going to fail from experience of dealing with these kinds of pistons, whether it be cars or screen doors or you name it. One of the first things I initially noticed was this locking mechanism for the drawers. That's kind of an annoying design because if you truly need to lock this up, then you're going to have to remember to put this in between the locked and unlocked position. Not that this is something you would use for like serious security purposes, but so right now it's in the locked position, but because the drawers weren't closed all the way before I locked it, they're not locked. So that's something that you would have to keep in mind if you're concerned about actually locking your stuff. So now they're in the all the way locked position, and now you can't pull them out. So that's kind of a bad design in my opinion. I don't know how the mechanism works internally without taking the drawers out, but definitely something to keep in mind if you do intend on locking this up. Also, I would assume this is a little locking arm. It's not very durable. I would assume though, if you don't have this closed all the way, you're not going to have any way to know if it is locked or not, since it's not a very good contact. Unlock this again. The drawers, they roll nice. They're reasonably sturdy. I mean, you can put some weight on them. As you can tell on the rollers, if you do put weight on them, they do tend to flex inwards. I don't know if there's specifications somewhere that say how much these drawers can handle each. I would guess you probably wouldn't want to put more than like 20 pounds each in these, and maybe 50 in those. They roll nice, and they are removable with these little side catches that you just would have to flip up, hold it up, and then pull the drawer out. Pretty standard design there. They don't go in the best though, so you have to actually push it in past the little detent that holds them in. In this price range of $200, you're not going to get the nice soft close drawers from what I can tell. But this is better than some of the other ones I've seen. I feel that the force required to get past that detent is reasonable. It's not enough where you're going to take the cart with you. Some of the cheaper carts I've noticed that when you pull in the drawer, like the whole cart wants to roll with it because that detent is just too strong. And some of that might change once it's loaded down with weight. I have not checked any demo models that have had like tools in them or anything like that. They're always usually empty. But it does roll nice. This handle seems a little bit more substantial than some of the other ones. It's actually a piece of bent tubing with some plates welded on the ends. Being that this was a floor model, it wasn't assembled by me. When I initially got this flap here was sitting on the inside of this piece of angle iron, which was a challenge to fix. I had to unscrew a bunch of screws all the way around the side so I could lift it up and then fight it to get it lined up. I kind of understand why they had the problem they did, because just trying to fix it in a assembled state was difficult. But yeah, that's the most of my initial thoughts. The casters are really nice. They're kind of a hard plastic, so they're not going to go over like rocks and stuff very well. And as you can see, they've been rolled around on concrete, and they seem to have held up fairly well. There's a few pits and stuff in them from rolling over sand. But I'm going to populate this with some tools and a few other things, and the next clip will be, I guess, me showing what this looks like with some tools in it. Alright, so I've spent about an hour or so now getting tools in here and fiddling around. Notice a few more things I don't like about this. First thing is these air cylinders, with the way they're designed, you have to have clearance. You can't put stuff along this path that is higher than the gap between the bottom of this hinged piece and the bottom of your tool cabinet. Not really anything you can do about that, unfortunately. I think most of the tool cabinets this size, you're going to have some sort of mechanism like this that's going to get in your way of stuff. Also, the mats these come with are just paper thin. They're not great. I've seen cheap yoga mats thicker than that. And one other thing, which might be silly, but I wish these drawer faces weren't recessed behind this. I want to put labels on them. Not that they're really going to be necessary since I'm the only one using it, but I like to label my drawers so I know what's in there and what belongs in there. So with them being recessed like that, I'm not going to be able to see it very easily. But I've managed to get a few things in here. It's not fully populated yet. This is more of a tech cart, so it's never going to be completely full, hopefully. But I'm happy with the way it's worked out. It's even has big enough drawers where these really nice Acro Mills organizers I like fit. I have enough space for a second one in here, but I don't really have a second one that I actively use. This is the one I use the most because it has laptop screws and parts in it. But yeah, I got some space to grow and expand. Eventually I'll figure out what tools I need to put in here, but this is basically the majority of it. I do wish this bottom compartment was a little bit higher up. My electrical tool bag does fit in here, but it's not the easiest thing to get in and out. And then one thing, actually I'll leave this open. One thing that I did that I really liked how it turned out. There's these little side pieces for, I guess you could shove like screwdrivers and stuff in them. They have a bunch of holes down the line. But it also ended up being the perfect width for a plug strip. So I ended up loosening these bolts because this piece can slide forward and back. And I managed to make it so I have enough room, see if I can show it, for this cord off my plug strip to just nicely go in there without having to worry about it getting damaged or worn. And then since those holes line up from each other vertically, I put this plug strip here, and then I just ran the cord straight down and put my own end on it since the cord was too long and the original plug wouldn't have fit through that hole, let alone any of the other holes. So that's kind of giving me a nice spot to put my charger, and I put the cable behind the air cylinders so it shouldn't get worn or hit. And if I want to go anywhere with the cart but have power, I have my cord right there. Hopefully I'll come up with a better way to hang it. I'm not sure how yet. I do have these holes here, so maybe I'll attach some, I don't know, some bolts or something that I can wind the cord around, or find a cord reel I can bolt to this somewhere. I can't find a better place to put this. This is kind of where I have it for now. Because the problem is if I put it on the front anywhere, like this, let's say, well, if I have a screwdriver hanging across it like this, then I'm going to open the drawer and the thing's just going to fall out. or fall off of the magnet. And even on top, to my disappointment, the place I wanted to put it wasn't going to work. Let's find a screwdriver here. So like, yeah, if I want to put the screwdriver on like that, and I want to open the drawer, my screwdriver's just going to fall. I can put it on vertically, but I don't know. I might end up using it like that, because there's really not much I should, really need to put on here. I probably use this screwdriver the most. So maybe I'll leave it there for now and we'll fiddle with it. Oh, another thing I'm thinking about is I don't really like the top on this. It's fairly rigid, especially when it's closed. There's this piece down the middle that's decorative and functional at the same time. It gives you a support down the middle so it doesn't have a lot of flex. But what I'm really thinking I want to do here is I'm going to take a nice 1/2 inch piece of plywood, cut it to size where it'll cover the top, and then I'm going to inlay some neodymium magnets. I could just drill through this and make holes, but honestly it'll just be easier to put 4 neodymium magnets, one on each corner of the piece of plywood, and just stick it on, and then I can take it off whenever I want. Although I'm not sure why I'll have a reason to. But overall, so far my first impression is for $200, this isn't a bad tool cart. It's definitely better than what I saw at like Harbor Freight for similar pricing. Yeah, it does have some flaws, but I think a lot of that just comes down to the price point. Even though I'm really not too impressed with some of the more expensive ones I looked at. They are a little nicer. The soft close drawers are nice. You don't have to actually put in the effort to push them past their detent to get them to lock in. That one wasn't even closed. And for this size of toolbox, you really can't expect much. The only way you get something better in this size for a good price is just make your own, which is something I would have loved to do, but I don't have a woodworking shop, so that kind of is out of the question. But yeah, overall, I think this will suit my purposes. I look forward to putting it in a corner and probably not using it the way I intend to, knowing me, but hopefully I can behave, and when I'm done using a tool, it goes back in its home. That way I'm not running around my office looking for my primary screwdriver or where's my multimeter or drill or whatnot. But yeah, thanks for watching.